In the upper left, in the red, folks, he is abusive against Zergs. At least recently, he is looking very, very good. He is Byun. And in the upper right, in the blue, the victim in this very same matchup just 2 nights ago in EPT Korea, he is Solar. That's kind of fun how often I looked it up, and it was like in the last in the last month of EPT Cups, Byun and Solar have played in the finals like 3 times, which, considering that's like 33% of all finals over that period of time of the EPT Cups that Byun and Solar play in, when that say they, so not including Europe, that is a Byun and Solar finals. And then we could say actually even higher than that, because I think 3 or 4, like at least 3 of those events did not have both Byun and Solar playing in them, which means that it really is then 3 of 4, 3 of 5, something like that. So, point being, Byun and Solar is a wonderful matchup that we get a lot out of, and it's really kind of funny. I swear, Byun just finds rivals that he plays a ton against, like a month, and then someone else rises to the occasion on these online cups. For a while, it was Hero, and Byun and Hero were duking out in the semis and finals of every EPT Korea Cup for like 2 months. They played a bunch of epic series. Sometimes it's Max Packs, and he runs into Max Packs in like every EPT and A finals for a while, but Max Packs not, of course, playing the tournament tonight. And then, of course, on the subject of Byun's rivals, the one player that we do have to mention as someone who I would argue I don't know if we call it a rival, because the series is the series score is pretty one-sided as of late, but it's going to be Byun and Classic, because Byun and Classic played these epic games, and then, well, they play the epic games, and then Byun wins 2-0 or 2-1. But the games are just the best games I see all week. So, Reaper right now is going to knock the Queen off creep a little bit, but not going to find an opening. Good position there from Solar, closing out the angle. And we go on. I'm curious, though, what Byun is going for, right? Because we're not seeing any key tell of anything super interesting. It's 1-1-1. The big deal, or the biggest tell, and actually I think this is we're gonna see Medevac pop out of the starboard very quickly. There we go. Is the fact that there's no add-on swapped onto the factory, so he's not building a lot of Hellions. I think we're gonna see an armory go down, and there's gonna be a 3 to 4 Hellbat Marine timing, which is something that Byun has been doing a little bit. And I was talking about this in the Gumio series actually, but Byun and Gumio both have really been innovating, iterating upon TVZ playstyles as of late. So weird early drops. You get 7 Marines in this case, maybe even 8. It looks like it's gonna be 6 here. You get 6 to 8 Marines. You put them in a medevac. You go on. You get you delay your add-on on the factory to make sure you have some Hellion Reaper pressure. Well, again, you do go into the main base with a drop of 6 Marines, and this is not, the goal of this is not to kill inordinate amounts of stuff, but it is, of course, to kill some Overlords, which is, looks like it's going to be pretty possible here, but the Lings, they arrive in enough numbers that, well, Byun will be unsuccessful in his Overlord sniping endeavor. Okay, there we go. A little bit different, not exactly the build I was thinking of, but Armory is on the way, adding in a Liberator as well, and this is one of the benefits of going for this build. Your Byun is you force a lot of Lings early. You know, Solar, 41 Lings is decent, but as we approach 5 minutes, a little bit less so he's droning up once again, but he's built a decent amount of Lings. You know, he's got 14, he's lost 10, so he's built 25, 30 Lings. It's a pretty significant number to get this early in the game, and especially if some of them have gone down, he does have to replace. So now we have the Marine pressure going forward. 6 Hellbats into this army as Byun now getting his 3rd base on the way. It's not going to wait for Stim. Okay, so that makes sense. He's hitting with this 5-minute timing. Now, if you've seen Byun do this before, and luckily, I mean, I have, he tends to be somewhat non-committal with it. If he finds the value he's looking for, that's fine, but he does have a 3rd base on the way behind this, so that's fine. The Queens have an incredible concave, and we talked about Byun being non-committal. Well, He's going to struggle to find a way out of this. But as I say that, he's able to close out the angle on the Queens on the left side. So Queens will start falling. Lings cannot take this engagement, not with the Hellbats at the front. So yes, losing the medevac is annoying for Byun, but he's going to be able to back out. He gets 3 Queens. He gets drones with the Liberator. He kills an Overlord. He kills a bunch of Lings. This is actually just fantastic here for the former world champion. So again, we're going to see the siege up. Spores, well, going to burrow up now, but another worker will fall. And now into the natural. Here comes Byun. Queens are the Queens don't have enough energy for transfusions. The one that does is getting targeted down. How many Queens do we have? We have 3 Queens. This is insane. The Lings, they try to go for a run by, but there's nothing there. More Queens start to fall. More Queens are starting to fall. Solar, he underestimated this in the extreme, and they're running through the Hellbats. 12 workers are going to go down. Finally, this is dealt with by Solar, and the supply for Byun is not all that great, but resources lost, folks. All I'm going to say, actually, this is a better, we don't have that. Hellbats died. Marines died. Sure. 12 drones, 32 Lings, 10 Queens. 10 Queens have gone down. That's what I want, actually. Excuse me. That's insane. That is an incredible bit of damage there from a 5-minute Hellbat push with a third base on the way. This is not your 4-minute, wow, I really got to get damage done. This was a middle-level commitment, and yeah, getting 10 freaking Queens, absolutely worthwhile. Abso-freaking-lutely worthwhile. As Ling is going to look for the third base, not going to find it because Marines are there. But that may be enough to tell Solar that, yes, Byun does have his third base. And, well, we're going to see push round 2. This time it has stim. It has combat shields. Now, of course, we do not have, well, not much more splash damage than that. 1-1 is not done, but even still, we can see Byun clearing out a lot of the creep spread. And actually, yeah, he's going to find that there are no creep tumors on the other side, so sees the creep receding. And now here he comes on to ideally the third base of Solar, but if he's going to stem forward, he's really going to take whatever he's given, and he's going to find a Queen, but not able to get it down in time. And, well, the Banelings arrive. Hellbats will fall eventually, and Byun has to pick up, run home, go away. That's fine. He's got 10 seconds remaining on his 1-1. He's going to find out that there is, I don't think he sees the fourth base, but seeing the army fight from this angle is probably going to tell him, oh, that target fire from Byun is absolutely beautiful. 3 Banes fall. Byun loses like 2 Marines, and he is forced back. But sure, he's forced back, but he is still trading insanely cost effectively in this game number 1. There we go. Bit of an odd push from Byun on the north side, though, because this is not where his medevacs are necessarily. In fact, there are no medevacs with this push whatsoever. But he knows he's forced the army of Solar onto the bottom side, as more workers will go down. Target fire again. 1, 2, 3, gets 4, and that's when he has to run away because Baneling's closing out angles from both sides. Now up into the natural. Here comes Byun with a couple Widowmines. And just kind of a paltry force, but the Widowmines, they need a burrow. Hellbats in the front here are going to make sure that is fine. And the Marines, they head backwards. Banelings get good connections. The Widowmines, though, actually, they do get great connections here, but even still, this army, it gets cleaned up. Bit of a weird push from Byun, in all honesty. Don't know how I feel about it, but it seems like it traded well enough. Byun now extending that gap and resource loss to about 2K, as he does have his fourth base on the way. And notice he's taking the triangular fourth. Sometimes we see Terrans take this base, but realistically, this base allows Byun to continue to push. He pushes through his base. And yes, Solar has the bottom right, but I honestly, I think we're going to see Byun okay with Solar having a fourth and instead focus his efforts on the fifth base, which does not have nearly as much creep spread around it, which is much more accessible to the Terran push. Yeah, Solar, it's okay. Keep your fourth base. I already have mine. You know, it's okay. And the Widowmine shot goes a little wide. Byun's pushed back for the moment, but again, we are going to see Byun, I think, get much more committed into this pocket base that Solar has tried to take. As the drop goes down, but the medevac goes down, but it's an empty medevac, so this drop doesn't really get all that much done. And Solar is starting to batten down the hatches just a little bit more. Stims on the high ground, but with the Lings and Banes here, yeah. Byun will be forced back, so I think, normally when we talk about TVZ, we have stages. You have that full frontal, that big push in the early game off of 1-1 timing, and then the Terran starts to realize that they can't push through in one spot, so they start multi-prying. And then they start multi-prying and they start harassing until the late game happens and maybe they hit a death ball and they go forward. I would not mind seeing Byun hit with just a big, powerful push, like bring his entire army together because, well, it's just so close to his base that he may make that happen. Widowmines, they get decent shots here. Byun now stims off creeps. Got to be careful because that is still a lot of army from Solar. So as much as they talk about wanting and desiring this full 4-base push, Seems like Solar might just have a little bit too much at the front, but in the main base, that is a different question. So Byun was the target firing down. He gets the gas, Lings will fall, and with concussive shells done soon enough, actually they're really not going to impact us all that much. Ideally, at this point, their job is to tag Banelings, to allow Byun to get the target fire that he wants. And this drop is still in the main base. Not getting any workers just yet, but killing all the Lings that are sitting there to defend. So what does Byun do when there's no vision where his army is? He commits harder for it. Banelings looking like they get a good connection, but Solar, he thinks he needs to defend the front, and he kind of does, but it's a quad drop into the main base. Widowmines are going to burrow up here to defend more and more, and this is a base sniping number of Marines, potentially. Lings from one side. Byun, does he get the target fire? Not really. In fact, the Widowmine is going to be his worst nightmare because he's dealing with the front. He's dealing with the push right there, and we're starting to see Solar fall apart just a little bit. 20 army supply lead. Banelings, they get targeted down. Marauders at the front. No medevacs, though, so that's a bit annoying as the Widowmines, well, yeah, friendly fire. So it felt like we saw Solar start to fall apart a little bit. Byun, you got to pick these by Maria. Oh, yeah. He had faith. He had faith, but unfortunately, the faith was not worthwhile. So he loses a bunch of Marines. But he just picks up that army that was waiting. The army that was rallying forward. This one is a much harder army to defend. Marauders in a corner are very, very difficult for Byun to dislodge. And here we go, Bio stimming into the main base. Once again, I think this macro hatch dies at the very... Yeah, this is dead macro hatch. The gas will go down. But the Hive is going to be the true victim, and I don't think we're going to see that one. But, well, we don't have any blinding clouds go down, so really it is just parasitic bombs, making sure that this is a one-way trip for Byun's army. But he trades decently well. I mean, Marauders don't kill Lings all that quickly, so you do have that one. But there's always a push in the natural as well. Or in the fourth base, Byun stims on top of the Lurkers. He's going to get them. And Solar, at this point, it just doesn't feel like Solar can ever be where he needs to be. The Lurkers are all dead. Hydras, they join the fight, but really one or two at a time is not enough here. Widowmines, well, they will not get the shots they're looking for. It's a good flank with a couple Lings are going to be nice. Solar tries to block out this position from Byun to run through, but not successful. The force field's not quite what they need to be, and Widowmine drop into the main base now. Really not a lot of workers here, so yes, it will kill something, but only 4 workers. There's just not a lot to kill. Oh, Byun has a victim there. Potential victim, but the natural's probably the hardest hatch to ever kill. And there we go. A couple more workers go down. Funnily enough, Byun got more in the main base, despite there being more workers, of course, at that third base position. Now the Banelings run forward, but they're really not a lot of them. In fact, one Baneling remains on the map here. Lings, they try to filter on through, and Byun, his +3 attack is a little bit slow, so that's annoying. His army lives long, but it doesn't kill as quickly as he would like, which makes it somewhat difficult to get on top of the Lurkers. But he is adding Ghosts into the fray now. And you all know what happens when Ghosts join the fray. Ghosts make Lurkers feel like they are useless. They make it feel like the unit composition is a trap, but it's what Solar had to go for. He had to find a stronger defensive line compared from the pressure that Byun was putting on. And now Lings, Banes, they come rolling forward. Banelings actually from the north side as well. Well played there. He gets a medevac, and Byun's supply was skyrocketing ahead. Now it really is not. It looks like I don't know if that base was killed or canceled. Looks like it was canceled. Okay. Byun, he does deny the gold base for a little bit. Honestly, Byun's on 5 bases. Solar's on 5 bases. Resources lost. 4,000 in favor of the Zerg. Not intensely ahead, but enough. Considering the fact that, well, Byun just has an equal base count. He's actually up 13 workers. And he does have his 3-3 as well compared to the 2-2, soon to be 2-1-3 upgrades that Solar has. So this base will finally go down. Solar has been found out of position. So now Solar on 4 bases. Lurkers are going to try to burrow up on everything. Ghosts, I don't really... I thought I saw an EMP maybe, but Ghosts not really getting the snipes down that they want just yet. Solar's trying to close out this position, sensing maybe, despite the lead that Byun has, maybe he can just take this fight. One Lurker gets targeted down. Scan gets dropped, and Byun has to hightail it on out of there. Still, though, he got a base, and he took a fairly cost-effective trade. Now he thinks he can stim on forward. Snipe goes down, and a Hydra will fall. The Lurker count's scary, right? There are 10 Lurkers, but there's nothing to defend them, and Byun dominates game number 1. In the upper left, folks, in the red, he's up 1-0 and looking just disgustingly good. He's Byun. Bottom right, in the blue, down 1 game, folks, for Onsyde. It's Solar. So game one, Byun got a lot of damage done in the early game. The early mid game with that weird Hellbat timing that kind of didn't work, and then all of a sudden he just killed 10 queens and 7 drones, and suddenly you're okay. So I got to imagine that first and foremost, we're not going to see this work again. That feels like very much a once a serious thing, if that. And okay, Byun's going to the next round of things. He's got 2 racks on the way. We talked about the 3 base, or the 3 medevac double tank 2-1-1 that we saw Byun do in that first game, or in the game against game against Sue. Right? Well, he does have other 2-1-1 builds. He can go just your standard 2-1-1. He can go build, he can do the Maru build. He can actually go 2. Like, there are a bunch of different options, depending on what level of aggression he wants to go for. I don't think we're going to see the tank build on this map. Just considering there's not really nearly as good of a siege position. You can kind of siege around here, but it's not nearly as powerful as the spot outside of the 3rd base on Data C. So for right now, factory on the way. After this 2 barracks, system gets started. Just keep an eye on production. Keep an eye on really the add-ons and when they get taken for the factory. Meanwhile, Solar's playing standard. This is what we can expect. He does, of course, want to figure out that this is a 2-1-1, and he did actually get the scout there. He only has 2 lings on the map. Does not feel the need to build anymore. And this does mean he's going to be able to be as greedy as possible, which is what you want to do in a 2-1-1. You want to drone, and then around 4 minutes, give or take, you want to pump out 31, 36 lings. You have your queens. You want to make sure your creep spread where it needs to be, and that's how you hold a 2-1-1. Standard 2-1-1 at the very least. Where are we on the add-on on the factory? Okay, reactor's on the way. So looks like this will not, I mean, I'm not surprised, but it looks like this will not be the tank build. Well, there's a bit of a wrinkle, though. Byun is going to start to move around with the Marines outside of his base, which could be scary. But of course, Solar did go for delayed clash. He loves going for this 4-minute speed build instead of, it takes it about 30 seconds later, which denies map control maybe a little bit, but it means you're able to be extra greedy. So Solar, he only built 1 set of lings instead of 2. He also went for the delayed clash. So on 2 sides of the map, on 2 axes of the greed, well, he has successfully done that. But more Overlords on the way. He finds himself supply block really at an inopportune time because medevacs are on the way, and Byun is going to be moving out right now. But lings have to get made. 14 of them are on the way, and Solar, he needs more. 14 lings do not defend this. He's got 18 on the way right now. There we go. There's 20 as the larva pops. He should be fine. Here comes the push of Byun. He's got 2 medevacs joining the army right now, hitting right at that 5-minute mark. Of course, that's what you do. You move out at 4:30, you hit at 5. And we do have a bailing nest, folks, but no bailings on the map right now. Actually, only 27 lings. This is a position where Byun can maybe get something down, depending on how good the transfuses of Solar are. As lings start to get knocked down here, and the queen at the front, the high-energy queen, is getting targeted down. 1 queen will fall to start. 2nd queen getting rather low, and I think there was, 1 queen dead, 18 lings dead. But a couple Marines have died as well. Okay, that's something. But already, getting queens is not supposed to happen in the perfect defense. You're supposed to keep every queen alive and just trade lings for Marines. But Byun already getting a little bit more than that one. And into the main base, this drop will go. Spore is going to burrow itself right back up, but Byun's going to deal with that problem pretty quickly as he micros back into a corner. Ling's looking for the surround, and honestly felt like Byun could do that a little bit more, but oh, he was afraid of the medevac. It got very, very, very low. 1 shot away from death. 4 HP. Queen shot does 7, by the way. So that is almost a dead medevac that would have killed off half of Byun's composition, and that's not what you want. So while the Marines on the ground with proper medevac support felt like they could make that absolutely clean up every single ling, you need the medevac. You need that constant healing, otherwise it just gets wiped out. It starts to snowball for the Zerg very quickly. So Byun does have to back up, keep the medevac alive, which is the important thing. He has lost a grand total of 7 Marines in this game, compared to the 4 Marines that he lost through the 2-1-1 pressure against Sue in the semifinals. Now banelings are on the way, and Solar is making the decision to only go single Evo. Getting that Carapace upgrade means that the banelings can connect into the Marines, and that really is all what matters. But, well, Byun, he does have 1-1 on the way, so eventually this will be a bit of an upgrade deficit for Solar's. Nice target fire from Byun here to start, and notice what Byun's doing. He's keeping half his Marines by his tanks, and what this means, of course, is that any sort of Ling run by to try to knock the tanks down is not going to be all that successful. So Solar, he's looking for the reinforcements, will find none. He might try to sweep around here, knock these tanks down, but I don't know that that is going to be all that successful either. As Byun pre-splits off creep. And he's just, again, taking these very cost-effective trades. Now, Baneling speed is on the way, or Baneling speed is done, excuse me. So that does enable the fight for Solar just a little bit more, but Byun finds a nice position. He's going to go into the main base here. And yes, Solar, that means Solar probably is going to be able to knock this position down. McQueen's on the high ground. You need that. You need to see that. Oh, man, that tank position is a little bit unfortunate. So the Queen's killed the tank. And that really does take a lot of the strength out of this position from Byun. He wasn't really able to get much done in the main base as well. More medevacs will now join the fray. At the very least, this is an evac point, but now here comes Solar before the medevacs are ready. Most of the army in the skies. There will be no medevac, no evacuation points in this game, as Byun is not targeting the banelings down, but also they're too close. So Solar cleans this push up, that scary, terrifying push that we saw Byun hit against Sue on Data C. Well, we saw why it's not quite as powerful on this map, but luckily Byun does have his third base done. His 1-1 is just about complete, so while he did not have a Carapace upgrade timing, while he did not have the upgrade timing with the Carapace, right? He was 0-1 versus 0-0. The army of Solar is better upgraded. Now his 1-1 timing is actually much better. So he's going to be an upgrade on Solar for a while, and actually he's going to be up significant upgrades on Solar for a while, depending on his armory timing, which he does have. So unless he pulls the Byun, he should have his 2-2 very quickly compared to what Solar is getting. That is always going to be rather nice indeed. Bio on the main base here, they're going to find a Baneling waiting for them, and they're going to be forced back. So Byun not quite able to find the damage he's looking for. He's trying the multi-prong, he's trying the harass, but it is, for the most part, unsuccessful. Stimming on into this 4th base, and really not a lot of Banelings here, just a lot of Lings. How good is your target fire, Byun? Not good enough, but he does. Oh, he gets the base. That's why he didn't target fire down. He gets the base here, and that is actually such a big deal. Solar's going to try to take a base on the north side, but for now, Byun's not going to be able to knock this down. There we go. 2-2 upgrades are on the way. And well, Byun could have had a bit of a timing lead, not going to be able to take advantage of it after all. And this drop's going to be dealt with. So Byun getting the 4th base is a nice start. Certainly makes up for the lack of damage that the 2-1-1 got. But we do need to point this out. Byun is... never mind, he's not going 8 Rex. He does have a 4th command center that I did not see on the minimap. So he's adding on Eric's 6, 7, 8, but that is, of course, after he did get his 4th command center. Getting ready to move into the late game. But the reason this map gets a little scary for Zerg, or for Terrran later on, is it's so hard to hold that 4th base. It gets so wide open, and on the flip side, it's so hard to push into the Zerg 4th, because, again, it is very wide open. So Byun unsuccessful on the push on the left side. Now, Solar, he does have his 4th and 5th base up at the same time. Byun's not really going to be able to get in the main base with the spores that are there, and the Ling's Bane waiting for it. So Solar really closing out every angle. And as we talked about in the last series against Gumiho, Solar does show a bit of a weakness in the mid game to heavy Terran pressure. But as the game goes late, that does seem to be his happy place, where he does tend to play the best. So as we're getting in that late game, and really, Solar not really too much of a deficit whatsoever, only down about 1,600 resources. Well, that is very, very nice for Solar. But he will lose 3 queens, and that is not what you want. Again, these are creep queens. These are what allow Solar to establish map control as Widowmine. Oh my, there we go. That's what you want. 22 kills on that one, 8 kills on that one, 30 total Lings. Just went down to 2 little splashy boys. And that is absolutely what you're looking for if your name is Byun. Really cutting down a lot of the pushing power, a lot of the tempo that Solar may have had into Byun's 3rd base. And now Byun, Planetary on the way at the 4th. He's got 4th and 5th and 6th command centers on the way. Widowmine that time doesn't get nearly as much done. But Solar is only on 5 bases. Byun has 4. Now Solar is up a base. Well, Banelings will kill that random Widowmine. But really what we're looking at, of course, is the fact that lurkers are now, or the lurker den is now done. We do not have a hive, I don't think. Oh no, we do have a hive, excuse me. We do have that hive. Do we have any Vipers? No, not just yet. The Lurker Den is done, which does, of course, mean we can move into Lurker upgrades, but of course, Solo's maxed out, so no Lurkers just yet. Now, as he trades out a bit of the supply, we are starting to see the Vipers hitting the field, but for right now, Byun has an upgrade lead. That's 2-2 versus 2-1. He is maxed out for the most part. We're going to have to see how much damage he gets done. The line of sight blocker, Widowmine, was so powerful early on. Not nearly as much that time, but Byun cutting back behind the wall of his Marauders, and it does seem to be successful for the most part. Seems like a pretty good fight for Byun at the beginning of this, but he's not able to get too much done from the drop on the bottom left side. So, looks like this drop is going to be dealt with for the most part. But again, the Marauders at the front line. Technically, that's a good engagement, but Byun does not split his Marines properly. So the Banelings, they get absolutely central mass connections, center mass connections. And now Byun setting up this concave on the right side. He does have line of sight, but again, that Widowmine in the blocker not doing what he wants. Widowmine's going to burrow once again, does not get the shot off, and now Byun on a bit of a run game here. He's got to find his way back into his base, where there are a ton of tanks to buffer his position, but the Banelings, they continue to run forward. Now the tanks are exposed. One of them will fall. Two of them actually looks like they will go down, but Byun is able to hold that position, and actually I think that was a pretty cost-effective trade, all things considered. Yes. Yeah, definitely cost-effective there. Now it's a 5,000 resources gap. But how does Byun get his 5th base? Solar does have a 6th on the way, so Byun does need that 5th. His ghosts are getting added in. We're seeing him start to remax once again. And it's interesting that he built double orbital, or double command center, excuse me, in his main. Normally, those would be for orbitals, right? Okay, yeah, we do see orbitals on the way, but Solar trying to make pressure on the left side, but this is not nearly as sim-seated up, not nearly as defended, but Ghost on the back side here, and the 3-2 bio, excuse me, soon to be 3-3 bio of Byun, does mean that Solar cannot really find his way in, not past the planetary, not past the Widowmine. So Ghost Wolf or a Snipe will go down on a Lurker. Lurker does fall. But Byun, Solar does have the 6th base on the upper right side, and more importantly, he's taking the goal. And on a map that does only have 6 bases aside, but this one gimme base, this one halfway base that either player can take, well, it's very important that the Zerg holds onto it and keeps it. So if you are a Solar fan, if you want us to go to 5 games, this is exactly what you are cheering for. But Byun does drop a scan on the bottom left side. He is aware that the gold has been taken right now. Not that he can deal with it necessarily just yet. He's got to pick up and run here. But those medevacs are rather low, so Byun does have to hot unload because this medevac will go down. There he goes. Byun not quite quick enough on the rotation just yet. This wall will get knocked down. We just see the command center lifting. 7 SCVs do go down, but Byun finds a bunch of lurkers on the backside. That is very nice indeed, depending on how... Oh, no! He just runs the Marines into the Banes, and this is not what you want here, Byun. Not whatsoever. 19 SCVs have gone down. The army of Byun, now that's the big deal. It's only on 65. Lings and Banes now getting on top of the Ghosts here, and they're going to start to chomp away. Yes, Ghosts are tanky. Yes, they do 2-shot Lings, but even still, Byun lost a core composition, core component of his army. He lost a lot of Marines. That's the big deal. 22 SCVs in that fight. Actually, wait. Huh? Units lost says 22. The pop-up says 23 SCVs. Not totally sure how that one works. Anyway, Solar is starting to clean out some of the economy of Byun pretty significantly, but Byun on the flip side will be able to go, as we're seeing just how powerful Ghosts are against Lings. Take the bottom left side base out, the gold base out. That's just because Solar was, of course, dealing with the top side. So now as Solar rotates over, I don't know that Byun's necessarily going to be able to do that again. Widowmine, friendly fire on the medevac. Widowmine on that side doesn't really get that much done, but Byun's army is not that bad, and you cannot run from this. He will perpetually snipe down your Hydras, will perpetually snipe down your Lurkers. And he does have the base set up again. He's going to get his 5th base set up again soon enough. Personal cloaking going down on the Ghost eventually, getting closer to remax. And as bad as that was, we look at resource lost, and the gap only continues to increase. I really thought that was going to be the death knell for Byun, as I've seen it happen before, but Lings and Maze coming in from both sides. Widowmines, oh, they save Byun's left flank, and now he only has to deal with one position here. Marauders at the front, Ghosts and Marines kiting backwards. And yes, this is a trade, but this is a trade that Byun is more than happy to take. Yes, his supply does drop down, but his army supply is just about equivalent. The problem is he's down to about 30 workers, but mules can make up for that in part. And it's not a cost-effective trade once again. I don't think that too many Ghosts went down either. It looks like something is happening on the planetary, but really we got to focus on this base on the north side where things are starting to go down. Widow Mines, well, they actually friendly fire again. Once again, Solar's been baiting this so tremendously well. Banelings into the mineral line. 8 workers will go down. And, oh, Byun's got to repair this. He's got to buy the time. But he's got 2 bases now that are burning. Looks like there was a lurker, bit of a lurker rest on the bottom left side. Byun, you got to repair this. Byun, you got to repair this. Byun. Byun. He's not going to have time to repair it right now. Lings and Maids once again come in, and this actually may be the death of a couple bases here because Byun has not repaired his command centers. You have hot pickups, he tries to save. And again, the army is good, but it's the economy that's the problem. Is Byun repairing? No, he's not just yet. He's not repairing this one either. Byun is going to lose 2 bases here. Okay, now he notices. He's got to repair it. Maybe too little, too late. But the Banelings will not come crashing in. Lurkers, they're here, but the snipes are going to go down. Byun running out of medevacs, though, not able to keep this army alive. And this does feel like the break that Solar was looking for. Byun lost the orbital. Again, we're going to see this command center start to get very low because the Hydras are here, and Byun does not have what he needs to snipe these lurkers down just yet, so he's not able to get above 100 supply anymore. Lings are again looking for that surround. SCV's on hold position, just trying to serve as a bit of a meat shield. And while Byun looked incredible in game 1 and in parts looked incredible in game 2, Solar has the series up 1-1. Bottom left side of the map here in the red. He won game 1, but unfortunately not able to find the same result in game 2 for Shopify Rebellion, Byun. Neighbor writes in the blue. What a masterful game 2. It's Solar. So. Why is Waterfall a good Zerg map? Despite it being a map that only has realistically 6 bases. Yeah, there's that 7th rich gas base, but it's hard to take. And it's the smallest dimension-wise map we've had in the map pool since like Wings of Liberty. Well, I'll tell you why. Take a look at this 3rd base. First of all, there's no immediate access to it. The Terran can't shove it right through the gullet. You have to push from the side, which is always a little bit awkward there. It slows down the rally into that push. On top of that, look how wide open it is right around here. There's some pretty wide open spots on this map. And because it is so short, the Zerg, and we saw Solar do this on game 1. We'll talk about what Byun's doing in a second. The Zerg can, or on the inside map, excuse me, against Gumiho, you can just flood across the map. You win one fight, you put yourself in the 3rd base of the Terran, they die. But Byun is doing something a little bit different. This is actually something that Gumiho did, attempted against Dark on Saturday night. Did not work. He's going 3 max. He is going to be looking to hit with a Marine Marauder, or a Marine Combat Shield. Stim Marine Combat Shield timing. Oh, that's not what I meant to hit. Here we go. So Solar only saw the singular barracks. He's not aware of the other 2. And I gotta hope that Byun does not go 2 Marine, 2 Marauder production, which is what Gumiho did, which I guess on the assumption that this was going to be a heavy Baneling defense or a heavy Roach defense, but it was just Ling Queen, which is what you won against this. And Byun, yeah, he's building 3 Marines at a time here. This is going to be a much more powerful timing. Now, he may not have combat shields. All right, that is the downside if you only go single tech lab. Oh, no, okay. No, he does go double tech lab. Okay. 4 Marines at a time, building combat shields, building stim. He's getting very aggressive here on Waterfall. And part of it is, I guess, he doesn't want to play the mid game against a Zerg with how good this map is for Zerg. Oh, and by the way, I talked about that 55-45 win percentage just for the sake of completeness. That is in 222 professional TVZs across GSL, across WTL, across DreamHack Valencia LAN, across DreamHack Atlanta Regionals, across TSL 9, across the Africa TV Champions Cup qualifiers, and maybe some other tournaments I'm forgetting. So Across 222 games, 55-45. That is certainly enough to be statistically significant. But Baneling Nest is on the way pretty early here for Solar, so it seems like he is smelling something out. He really hasn't seen anything on the map, no Hellions, nothing like that. And that is most likely the tell that he is looking at. But now here come the Marines onto the other side of the map. Yes, it's not Moondance. It's not the quickest rush distance. Oh, there we go. Good. Oh, okay. SCVs are going to get pulled here as well. This is actually fantastic that the Baneling hold is what Solar is going for, because, well, SCVs, they don't tank against Banes. But the Baneling Nest is going to be done in just a second. 20 more Lings are on the way. Not a lot of Lings to start here, and Byun, he's just going to have to stim in. Banelings are now getting morphed in. The natural is just getting given up. Solar understands that if he holds this army down, he wins the game. So now the Baneling Nest is going down. 7 Banelings are all that Solar will have. But Byun, how long are you going to wait? How much time do you want to give Solar? Scan on the high ground. And that's actually a tremendous scan. It tells Byun that there are Banelings on the field. SCVs are on the high ground. The target fire from Byun. He gets every single one. Lings, they get a decent surround, but SCVs are still here. I don't know that that is enough, though, from Byun. How good is his rally? Actually, it's not. He's building more SCVs behind this, building more Marines as well. I think that just... Oh, man, that target fire was so good. He got every single Baneling. How many... He got 5 of the 7 Banelings down. That is incredible, but even still... He waited too long, I think. The Ling reinforcements and the Queens bought Solar the time he needed. At the end of the day, Solar lost most of the damage on a hatch. He lost a Baneling Nest that he can rebuild fairly quickly. I don't think this got enough done from Byun. On the flip side, he pulled his boys. He only lost 8 of them. He actually returned a lot of them to mining. So... maybe it's not as bad as it would otherwise be. And if Byun gets another push in, he can kill the natural. I don't know. That was almost... I thought Byun was going to... I really thought Byun was going to be able to make something happen. But unfortunately, not quite enough. Now, medevacs are on the way. Byun active on the map with this army, with this clump of army. And 3 Banelings are on the way, coupling with the 5 that already exist. So it's only... I think Byun has to stay off creep here. That much is true, and he's going all in behind this. There's no macro game in the works for Byun in this game number 3. No, not with the 3 reactions, not with pulling the SCVs, even if he only kind of partially committed. But there we go. Great surround coming in from Solar on both sides. This army in the middle of the map has been dealt with before the medevacs arrive. And now Byun's kind of dead. Solar only going single Evo, of course. You don't need to go double Evo against this. You just get that 1 upgrade lead. It's going to work out very well for you. Byun does have 2 additional barracks on the way. We pointed this out. He's on 5 racks. This is that all-in state. But he has lost 40... He's lost 40 Marines already. That is expensive off of 46 workers. And most importantly, by losing that second set of Marines, he's had very little map pressure in this game, which means Solar can get his 4th. He's pretty much unfettered. Baneling speed is, of course, on the way. Target fire again from Byun is very nice. But how does Byun come back into this game? Because at this point, Solar has put himself in a game-winning position. He made that hold look easy, despite the target fire of Byun. He got... I think if Byun gets all 7 Banelings, he maybe pushes through. With only 5, the splash damage was enough to kill off enough of Marines that the Lings and the Queens could clean up the rest of it. But here comes Byun's second real push. Baneling speed is done in 10 seconds, and that is what Solar is going to look to buy time for. And of course, he's going to eventually have Carapace, but that's not for this fight. Depending on how much he can stand back, it's maybe for this fight. We'll see. But for now, Byun standing up on the high ground. Solar may just give this position up, to be totally honest. He's got a base on the way on the north side, and he doesn't really need a 4th base. He has 3, and Byun's only on 2, so I like this decision. He doesn't want to lose these Queens, and he does have to transfuse, but not quite quickly enough. So Solar rotates onto the other side. Banelings, they come crashing in. The depot top hat will go... The rich supply depot will go down, and, well, good target fire from the tanks on the high ground. But now Lings, these are difficult indeed to deal with. Carapace is done. And the Lings, well, they're going to get up right on top of these Marines. And the tank is doing something, but, well, the Lings, they need to get on top of these SCVs, which they will now do. So friendly fire killing even more. The tank will fall. 8 SCVs have gone down. Meanwhile, what is this? Liberators. Okay, they're going to find their way onto the nascent base. It's not ready just yet. 8 workers fall. But the problem is now Solar's about to lose 24 supply overlords. He will find himself supply blocked here, or at least close enough, good enough for government work. And that's annoying. So Byun goes for pressure. Doesn't really... I mean, he gets a base, but you get the sense that Solar is not worried about that one whatsoever. In the meantime, he loses 2 tanks. He loses a bunch of supply cap, actually. And he loses 8 SCVs. So that is actually... I mean, the world is Solar's oyster at this point. He can do pretty much whatever he wants. But if Byun knocks the other 4th base down, that's when we start to say, okay, well, maybe Byun got a shot here. And remember, Byun is on 5 racks. He is, for this being a 2-base setup, he has a ton of production. That's a lot of Marines. And Solar does not want to take this fight off creep. Not from one angle at the very least. The Bios comes forward. Target fire from Byun. He gets a Baneling or 2. But Solar does back up. That's the key detail. Solar scouts both prospective 3rd base locations. Sees that Byun does not have a 3rd. So this is gonna tell Solar everything he needs to know. He just needs to hold this push, and the next one, he just needs to keep holding, play defensively, give up ground when you need to, and he will win this game number 3 and put himself up 2-1 in the series. So again, Solar just evacuates the base. He's got a 4th base on the way somewhere else. He's just buying time for his upgrades to complete, for him to get up to fully max out. Because if the game goes long, the game favors Solar. But we have also seen Solar lose games like this where he gives a little bit too hard. Where he gives his bases away and gives his bases away and gives his bases away, which fine, makes sense. And then eventually he just runs out of bases, and it's like, well, Byun lifts his main base over to the 3rd, and Solar runs out of mining. I'm not going to say that. I'm not saying that's happening in this game, especially as Solar continues to claw his way ahead in upgrades. But that, if there's a way that Byun loses, it is, or Byun wins, it is this one. Solar, though, setting a massive surround. Actually, Byun got reinforcement, though, so he's going to be able to cut this off a little bit, or actually Solar's going to be able to cut off Byun's reinforcements. Sending backwards to the tanks, they siege up, but they're not going to get what they want, and Byun taps out. He had to get that army with the rest of his army, and as he was not able to do so, Solar now up 2-1. Upper right-hand side of folks in the red. His 3 racks did not work whatsoever, despite some heroic target fire. He is Byun. His opponent holding down the fort is Solar. I'm sorry, I introduced Byun up here. I was wrong. This is Byun's chosen base after all, and that does now mean that this game may be fairly quick. Not a guarantee, of course, because often if 2 racks are kind of a wash, well, they can actually make the game go very long because it just delays the tech a little bit. No one has a massively clear lead, like a decent one, but not a massively clear one, as now drones are going to get pulled. But the SCVs are in a nice spot, so I think... There we go. That's the RNG you're looking for. Byun is going to be able to get at least 1 barracks up, and maybe even 2 fairly easily. And there we go. Up. Okay. He gets the SCV. But the barracks does complete. That would have been rather annoying if the barracks went down at like 99% HP. So even as the drones are pulled, the barracks does complete itself. But the drones right now, they're just... What they're doing here is they're preventing the SCV from escaping. Now, 3 drones do not kill a Marine. So as the Marine pops out, well, Solar's going to commit to this anyways. And some good micro, he shouldn't lose any... Oh, I'm sorry. 3 drones do kill a Marine. What am I saying? Wow. Caster's wrong. But Solar loses 1 drone for the Marine. Actually, that is very cost effective now, as now we do have... Well, he's not even going to have to pull that many drones to defend this. It's only 1 SCV building the bunker. So we're going to have, well, a couple drones pulled off just to keep the Marine away, as the rest of them just focus on the bunker here. Lings are just about complete. So this pressure, actually the bunker's getting very, very low despite the completion. So another SCV, another drone, excuse me, will go down, and a couple Marine Lings start to fall as Byun hits three Marines. But we're seeing now the difference that's being made by the fact is this bunker should... Yeah, there we go. Bunker won't complete. That is being made by the fact that 1 Marine went down early. 4 Marines there would have cleaned that up much better, and the bunker would have gotten up. So pretty cool job there from Solar. He finds himself supply block, so he cancels gas a little bit to make sure that he gets the queen on the way. But now with 2 queens and a whole clutch of Lings, I don't think that this is going to get all that much done, but Byun continues to build Marines. And normally, once the Terrran stalls out, they don't build anything more, but that's a lot of damage done on that Queen. So Byun trying to volley the Queen down, not going to be all that successful just yet. And yeah, there we go. Solar pulls the Queen back now. There's the transfuse, just waiting for that energy. So not quite the damage that Byun was looking for. If he snipes one or both Queens, that validates this. Or that validates him building more Marines. But as that does not happen, well, Solar's just kind of unequivocally ahead. But I wonder what Byun is doing with this continued Marine production. But okay, now the barracks are going. So Solar now, third base on the way. Link speed is going to be done a little bit lower, longer, short, a little bit later. There we go, than your standard timing. But again, that's a 2 racks. You pull workers off gas. Just focus on mineral production for the time being, on the assumption that you will hold. And if you hold it, really your speed timing doesn't matter all that much. And that's what Solar has. He lost 4 drones, 10 links in the defense of his natural. And that is, absolutely acceptable, especially considering it was not a committed drone pull. It was like 4 drones for the most part, which is fantastic. Normally, when you try to defend this, you go for a lot more than that. You pull 12 odd workers, and then the break-even point is like 6 workers ish. You don't really want that, but Lings are going to find us around here on the Marines, and that's going to be nice. But as the Hellions arrive, it's going to force them all back. So that was, I don't really know, 10 Lings for a couple Marines. That's nice. But Byun does have, again, aggression on the way behind this. Armory goes down. This will be Habat played behind, and Bailey Nest getting started right around the same time the Armory is. So Solar should be well defended for this one, but Hellions trying to dive into the natural. Queen is already there, and Lings close out the last spot that they can dive through. So the Hellions will not find the value they're looking for, and importantly, a Hellion died. If you're going for a Hellbat timing, which Byun is, you want to make sure you want to keep your Hellions alive. So he's only going to have 7 Hellbats instead of 8, and the 5 Marines, they do accentuate the damage that is possible. But the Bailey Nest is... Bailey Nest is canceled. Solar's going for Roaches instead, but that Roach one will not be done in time for this push. And actually, one Queen off creep here just a little bit, but the Hellions trying to dive in somewhere else. Maybe Queen Ling's back up just a little bit. Ling's pressure in the main base. I feel like Solar's misread this. I feel like Solar has made a grievous mistake here in this game. Bailey Nest would have just made this hold so easy, but instead, Hellions dive in the main base. They line everything up. 11 workers go down. Ling's looking for the surround here, and it looks like they will eventually make that happen, but not before 12 workers die, and the Armory does not end up necessary at all. 12 workers, they pay the iron price, and actually Byun, he canceled the Armory. And Solar cancels the Roach Warren, builds a Bailey Nest, but now that damage that Byun took by not getting damage done, it's gone. Solar, unfortunately, plays mind games with himself, I guess, or reads it too much into a mind game from Byun that I didn't see. And he canceled the Bailey Nest, gets the Roach Warren. The pressure goes in, cancel the Roach Warren, and gets the Bailey Nest again. Like, this is just not... This is not how Solar wanted to play this game. So now Solar is going into Spire in this game number 4, which I like. I really enjoy Mutiling Bane play, but specifically on Data Sea. Again, it's a big map. So what just went down there? Landed Viking, I guess. Okay. On Data Sea, right? It has a significant amount of dead airspace. And most importantly, that position that Byun takes with the sieged up tank there that pressures the gas, that's something that mutas can deal with. If you have Lings there to distract the Marines, the mutas will just dive on the tanks, kill the tanks off, and then, well, it's no longer quite as scary. But you do want this gas if you are Solar. You do want 6 gas if you're going mutas. Going 5 does put you in a little bit of an awkward spot, as Liberators, well, doesn't seem like it's getting much damage done, but it is forcing maybe some little messed up mining a little bit. And now here come mutas on the way. No Evo Chambers, by the way, from Solar. He is very late on his upgrades. In fact, depending on when he drops, I mean, there's a very real world where the Evo Chambers drop as 1-1 completes. So, now, oh yeah, okay, two more tanks getting added on here from Byun, and the pressure just ratchets up in the extreme for Solar. And where is the mutas going? I think, is that the, no, this is the Lings. Where are the mutas? Okay, I don't really know, but we can't really focus on that right now. Mutas with the main army here. Lings looking for the surround, but there are 3 tanks. And the mutas, they're going to have to do a great job knocking this down. 1 muta will fall. Target fire from Byun is excellent. Banelings go down, and the mutas, they continue to fall. Yes, they will knock these tanks down, but the queens are starting to fall in the bio. Or excuse me, the Lings, the veins on the ground, they have fallen down for the most part. So Solar cleans this up eventually. But I'm not going to say cost effectively. Losing those mutas is very expensive. Although I guess it was only 3 mutas and 2 Banes, so maybe not quite as bad for Solar as I thought it was. But we do have double Evo now. Solar actually does not have the gas to build his upgrade. So Solar is Byun is starting 2-2 before Solar starts his 1-1, which means that unless Solar is in some way, crazy shape or form, able to cancel or to kill the E-base, Byun will have a 4 upgrade lead in this game. And that is so massive. Another muta will go down. There's pressure on the map from Byun as well, knocking down a lot of creeps, but that's a lot of tumors that are just not going to be accessible to Solar anymore. And now he's going to find his way into the 4th base. How many? We got a decent amount of Ling Banes, so Byun can't stay here forever. That siege position is powerful and will be dealt with finally, as the mutas are here as well. And Byun just finds his way into the main base. More overlords will go down, and as much as that hold from Solar at the 3rd base seemed decent, I'm really worried about the tech of Solar. There's going to be about a 20-second window where Byun has 2-2. Solar does not have an upgrade. And that bio army is going to be petrifying. It's going to be terrifying. Which I guess makes sense, right? Because we're in Halloween. Halloween is 7 days away. So how many mutas do we have? We're at 9. Normally by this point in the game, you want to be up at 14, 15, 16, but because 5 mutas have gone down, I mean, technically that is 14 mutas. But finally, the upgrades are starting to close out, get close enough for Solar at this point. But again, I'm scared of that timing. I am pretty scared of that timing that Byun's going to hit, but actually it looks like +1 Carapace will be done right around the... Or 2-2, does 2-2 take slightly less time than 1-1? Is that just something I didn't know? Anyway, 1 muta will fall here, and the pressure from Byun finding his way onto the 3rd base. Oh, Byun takes a big hit. Oh, yep. Byun takes a big hit there, but the Widow Mine cleans up a lot of those Banes. At the end of the day, that's kind of a wash. But that 4 upgrade timing is pretty much done now. Byun has +1 attack on the way, but actually in a strange twist of fate, he's a Terran player that doesn't have enough gas to get his armor upgrade. So he gets +1 armor, cancels it, gives +1 attack, and we should see +1 armor on the way once he has enough gas for it. But of course he is Byun, so he could just forget about it. It's not uncommon. On the flip side though, we do need to see +2 attack coming in from Solar, but finally Solar is hitting a decent muta count. He's at 13. 3 more are on the way. We're starting to hit that point where he can start to be powerful on the map. These mutas start to get significant worker damage done, start to target fire missile turrets down. If the repair is not immediate, he's going to get 1 right here. And, well, there's not a lot of SCVs in this main base, but they all seem primed to go down. So finally Solar is finding the value that he's looking for. And I don't know that Byun's going to be able to kill through the middle of the map like he's trying to. Splits are good, but he's on creep. So Banelings, they run forward. Oh, they're a bit disconnected here. More Banelings are going to morph in. Oh, that's going to be a couple dead medevacs. Very nice there for Solar. And, well, 12 workers have gone down. So Byun now starting to really take some significant economic damage. We're going to have to see how well this works out for him. Is now, Lings and Banes, they run forward a little bit, but this wall of Marauders is such a problem. It almost feels like you need the mutas here just to make sure that the Marauders do go down, because Banelings, they can't find their way through them. So this pressure from Byun up to upgrades is starting to find some momentum. But of course, the mutas, they kill the command center. This is a 3-base Terran now. The command center goes down, and I believe this is a planetary and a 4th yeah, it is. So it's a 2 orbital Terran. And this means that the economy of Solar is just so incredible right now. maybe even to the point where he can give the fourth base up. And Mutas, they're going to find a bunch of Marines. They don't want to fight the Marines. They want to fight the Marauders. Bailings, though, they get great connections. And Solar seems like he might be able to clean this up. He's got to get the Marines down. The rest of it will fall. So now the base is dead. That's fine, honestly, for Solar. Again, as long as he's able to clean this up. And he absolutely will. 6 workers go down, but the entire army of Byun does fall. Solar, he still is on 4 bases. And again, not only is Byun only on 3 bases, he's only on 2 orbitals, which is by far the more important stat. He cannot make up for any lacking economy by floating a base over, because again, he doesn't have a base that floats necessarily, that is not mined out, or that is mined out. And more importantly, he only has 2 scans at it. He only has 2 bases worth of scans, only 2 orbitals worth of mules. So Byun desperately needs to get this base on the bottom right side. And Solar, his 2-2 is going to be done soon. At least his armor is done. Bailey's get a lot of these Widow Mines down. Widow Mine gets another Muta. That's fine. Wait, where's the army? The Solar apparently has no army. He did everything right except have what it took to defend that last position. And folks, we're going to game 5. In the upper right here, in the red. His 2 racks didn't work, but the pressure through the middle of the map, it did. He is Byun. And the bottom left in the blue. Again, tied up here. He's won every other map. He's won every odd map. He's Solar. Actually, I'm sorry. That's not even true. Byun took game 1. Solar took maps 2 and 3, and then Byun took the 4th. So, game 5, what does Byun do? I thought he was going to go aggressive. No, he goes greedy as hell. Low ground CC first. Into the barracks. And this is not a build we see all that often. Inside and Out is not Moondance. No map is Moondance, but it's about a 33, 34 second rush distance, I think. So it's not super long, but it's not super short either. And, well, Byun gambles. He says Solar's not, he guesses that Solar's not going for full first. He will be rewarded in this endeavor. He's going to get his command center done on the low ground, and that just puts him just a little bit ahead. This is not going to define the game one way or the other. Probably not. But it does build a nice little lead for him, and it does give him a nice position to build off of into the mid game. He got a wonderful, he got a great inheritance, right? He's a self-made man, but he is a self-made man who went to private school and got a job in his parents' company for a couple years before striking out on his own. As I guess, what's happening here? I kind of expected this to Byun to go into a 2-on-1 behind this, right? Because with the early mineral income, it feels like that might be really powerful. But for right now, Barracks Factory. Starport on the way after this, I'm going to assume. So I'm actually not really up to date on what a CC first gets you in terms of builds, or what it branches into. Yeah, it puts you a little bit economically ahead, sure, but does this just go into quick 3 CC play? Does this go Hellion Banshee? Does this go Hellion Raven? Is there some aggression on the docket? Normally, when you go for extreme greed in the first 2 minutes, it means that you want to be on the map getting very aggressive by like 4:35. Or 4:30 to 5 minutes, excuse me. So, I don't know. But for right now, we do have Hellions getting reactored out and Tech Lab on this barracks. So, for now at least, everything's looking pretty damn standard. And it looks like it will be Banshee / Raven play from Byun. So, Hellion for Raven or Banshee play. That's going to be the name of the game for Byun in Game 5. And that's pretty much as standard gets, which means we should see a third base. Okay, there we go. Banshee's on the way. Which means we should see a third base pretty soon. I kind of expected to see something a little bit more interesting out of this build, considering Byun greeted out for it, but I guess this works out at the end. Okay, so I mean, really, yeah, this build is somewhat standard. Beyond getting his second and third barracks before his third CC, so not quite infinite greed, but so when you go Hellion Banshee, normally you get a quick third base behind that, and that the Hellion Banshee pressure on the map is what powers you into the mid game. But of course, you don't have a lot of production early. Byun instead is, first of all, there's only single eBay. I didn't miss another eBay going up at a different time. Yeah. Oh. Okay, now there's the second one. Okay. Beyond just a little bit slower on the second one. Okay, so normally you get the third base, and that you take advantage of that space that Hellion Banshee provides. But because Byun was CC first, he doesn't need to be quite as greedy on his third base. In fact, he won't be greedy at all on the third base because this is Hellion Banshee into a 5-rack solid. This is pretty cool. This is not something I talked about, well, being aggressive on the map by 5 minutes, and it looks like it actually will be aggressive on the map by 7. As Byun will look to leverage this early income that he has into a much more powerful mid-game timing. Because he hasn't lost anything. He's lost literally no resources. He's killed a couple workers, killed a Ling, but this has been mostly uninteractive play for the most part. And by the way, I'm sorry, I said stick in eBay. I thought I saw that on the wireframe, but no. That's the barracks. So it's going to be +1 stim combat shield timing coming in from Byun for all the marbles. Winner take, not all, but winner take a lot. $200 pot for first place, $100 pot for second place. And Byun is back with his tournament life on the line here, or also with Solar's tournament life on the line, is going for an all-in, which not something we see all that often, but it is fantastic on Data's team. And of course, you got to remember, Byun feels like he's been more effective on his aggressive play compared to the late game. Just kind of sit there, defend, get to 4 or 5 bases, and take the game late. That is Solar's bailiwick, and that is how we saw Solar win the Cosmic Sapphire game. So Byun has 3 tanks. 2 medevacs, 2 more on the way. Combat shields done in maybe about 20 seconds, 25 seconds, +1 at a similar timing. And here comes Byun on the map and knocking down creep. But of course, he's going to wait to get really aggressive until he has these 2 upgrades. We're getting very close to complete. 15 seconds, 10 seconds. They're timed out almost perfectly. So how much damage does Byun get done? Bailing speed is done, by the way, folks. That is important to note. So these bailings will actually be useful. And Solar's a pretty decent surround getting set up, and actually has a lot of army on the right side, but it's not really where it needs to be. So Byun, his famous target fire, not going to get him all that much just yet. Gets 1 bailing at the start, but he's got to back up, got to run away. And Solar's got a big clump of army on the high ground. But a 4th tank will arrive, and that's where I mean, it is already a scary push, but this is where things they start to get even scarier. Tanks, well, they kill banelings in like 2 shots, so got to be very careful there. As now the banelings, they look to run in. They're not going to get all that much done, but look at the surround Solar has. I don't think Byun's aware of this necessarily. He's not really buffering his tanks like he needs to with the Marines. So Solar, though, there we go, comes on in from the backside. Couple banelings get really good connections there on the Marines, and these tanks will all go down. Marines on the left side, well, they're not getting taken down just yet, but the tanks are all dead. Got to point this out, though. Most of the banelings are dead as well, but Solar holds on to this very easily. He's on 4 bases. He has +1 carapace. He is, well, he's in a good spot. 12 more banelings are on the way, so he spends the rest of the gas on that. But Byun's already here. Byun might be able to cancel some of these. As he stems forward, yeah. But a couple of these banelings will get canceled. Solar needs these banelings. He needs them so desperately, and like, what was that, 6 banelings to get canceled? Yeah, 6 banelings get canceled. Only 5 or 6 banelings get canceled. Only 7 pop out. So yeah, Solar has a plentiful lings, but the bane count a little bit scarier. Now Solar, he also, we got to point this out, is not really able to inject. Actually, he just has a lot of. He actually just has a lot of queens. Never mind. He's on 11 queens. I can say he's not really able to inject all that much, but he's got 9 queens at the front and still queens in the main and natural. So he does have the larva that he needs to keep this defense going. And remember, that first push from Byun, terrifying. 4 tanks. This push, less so. 1 tank. And Solar, his economy is not incredible, right? It's only on 56 workers, but Byun's on 48. And Solar is on 4 bases. So assuming that this drop from Byun does not do world-changing damage, again, Solar is in a fantastic spot to defend this, but now Byun stimming on in to the position, trying to get on top of the queens. 1 will fall. Transfuses are good for the moment. 2nd queen now going down, and here we go. Ling's Banes coming in from every side. Ling's knocked down the tank on the backside, and well, Liberators, they siege up. The queens are in enough position to make sure that this 1 Liberator will go down. There we go. 1 queen falls. I think a little bit of a lacking transfuse, but the drop is going to be dealt with as well. So Solar again holds. He's down about 20 army supply, but now he's got Hydras on the way, Hydra range on the way. Other thing we got to point out, though, Byun, first of all, he's got 1-1. But Solar will have that as well. Second of all, he does not have a lot of creep spread around his natural pocket, around his third base. And that does mean that it's a lot easier for Byun to shove into that linear third base position. We're not seeing him do that just yet, and the big surprise of this game is Byun, 10 minutes in, 9 minutes and 45 seconds in, is dropping a third base. I very much expected to see Byun just take his main base and lift it on over to the third. But, I mean, eventually, maybe this is going to be good for Byun, but Ling's main base just come rolling in. Byun cannot hold this position. Hydra's knocked down. The Liberators pretty much as expected. Oh, actually, not enough Hydras here. Maybe, no, they do knock it down, but there's a lot of Hydras going down. So 20 more Lings are on the way, but we're finally starting to see the supply really stabilize. Byun is not pulling ahead. His army supply is actually, the gap is not as much as it once was. Hydras, again, with the addition of Hydras is actually really smart from Solar. Oh, you don't want to create those Lings. It's really smart from Solar because it means that you have a core of your army that you do not trade out every time. That just stays alive time after time for the most part. So Byun, his Hail Mary play here is to try to knock this fourth base down, which by the way is very low. And Byun maybe had an opportunity when there was no creep. There was that gap in creep between the fourth base and the natural. But Solar very on top on reestablishing that creep. The other thing we got to point out, though, is... Okay, never mind. What am I talking about? Solar's got a big surround rolling in once again, but the Baileys are not here just yet as Byun kites backwards. And this is actually... the tank at the forward position goes down, but this is not the best fight for Solar right now. Drop trying to get on top of this fourth base. And yeah, it's just going to go down. There's Byun's Hail Mary play, but he's a bunch of Bayans on the other side. However, I'm not sure how much it matters. Byun is now... Solar's now only on 3 bases. He's got this fantastic tank position, this fantastic Liberator position, and the Bane's things, a lot of them are going to go down. Yes, Byun trades a tank for it, but Byun has his third base now. It's not on position, but he at least has 3 orbitals. And this position from Byun is really starting to snowball here. A single Banelings, they get target. Oh, this target fire from Byun. He just picks up, runs away, goes back again, sets himself up within the Aegis of the tank range. And now Byun stems in. He's going to get, maybe, yeah, he's going to get a Hydra. These Queens are running really a lot out of energy, and the Liberators, they're still going to start to close out a position. Oh, Queens, they're off creep as well, so they're not going to have transfuses, and it feels like Byun's done it. Hydras on the backside are going to try to do what they can, but the tanks can just knock them down. The army at the front is not fighting well enough indeed. The Queens are dead, and Solar is dead as well. What a game! Man, damn, what a game there from Byun. Fantastic play. What a series we got here, folks.